Hi there, ladies and gents. It's Dan here from Adventure More UK. Love to see you again. This week on my Adventure More Catch on the Flip Side podcast, I have a team building expert, a motivational speaker, and most importantly, is a US Navy SEAL veteran. It's Mr. Ray Cash. Care.
Hey,
How
brother.
are you, my friend?
Good, man. Thanks for having me. I'm honored to be on. I was telling you earlier, I feel like a little bitch. I thought I had the man beard, but coming out of the gate, I got to go borrow Billy Gibbons from ZZ Top or someone's beard to match you.
Yeah.
I definitely get now
Yeah.
horsepowered. Good to meet you.
No, it's good. I was going to say, are you allowed the beard? As in, would the wife let you? Or
Not too long. No, that's the thing.
no?
I have rules. Like when I used to work in Afghanistan and Iraq, I'd come back with a big beard. I'm not gonna lie,
Yeah,
my wife would be like, "You get one ride, and that shit's got to come off." So it came off quick, man. It came off quick.
Yeah, yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah, so first of all, I want to talk about is obviously, as I mentioned, you're a US Navy SEAL veteran.
Yeah.
But I just want to talk about sort of up until that point, so sort of pre-military. Like, what
Mhm.
was life like for you?
Uh Baltimore native. I'm 48 years old. I'll be 49 in March. Grew up from a
Okay,
split family. Uh, I my parents kind of used to. I used to, I guess the 50-50 custody or whatever. They were divorced at a young age. I guess they were. I know
yeah,
I don't ever have a recollection of them being together. Uh, Growing up, I ended up living with my father. I don't know how that happened, but he was actually murdered when I was 11.
okay,
And then I had to go live with my mother, who I don't, obviously, I don't think she was ready for that. She was married to someone else. And, it's just a lot of life lessons and lessons learned the hard fucking way. And, I don't, not like a boohoo, poor me, but I grew up rough. I didn't grow up loved a whole lot. And then just, my whole mindset is, Attack the Hill is, I'm going to stop you can stop bad traditions and create new ones. So, and that's what I'm trying to do with, helping the world out right now, just being better fucking human beings. Just because you got shit on doesn't mean you have
yeah,
to shit on other people. So that's kind of what I do. The power of positivity, but I'm human, man. There's days I don't want to fucking get up and get out of bed. And,
yeah,
I don't,
yeah, too.
everybody's like, come on. I'm like, yeah, man. There's days that my wife will call me a little bitch. And, that's why I love my wife so much because she's the first one to call me out. And,
Yeah,
I'm just going to keep helping people to the day I die.
yeah, absolutely. So when you was that age, sort of when you say when you uh, father got murdered at 11,
Mhm.
did
Yep.
did you have an idea then that you wanted to join the military, or is that something that came
No
later?
fucking clue. No clue.
No, you didn't. Yeah, no idea.
I had no clue I would do. 11 years old. Only thing I knew was I was angry, and I asked. I kept asking why. But I didn't really. Military thing didn't happen to me. Funny thing, I coach. I have clients all around the world,
Hmm.
and I was 19 years old, coming back from a bar. It's funny because I can't remember what I had for breakfast 2 months ago, but I can remember being 19 years old, coming back from a bar. It was a cold night. I remember looking in the mirror, and I did what I call now, it's my self-reflection drill, where I
Yeah,
tell people 99% of the world's fucking problems can be solved by looking in the mirror and changing what you see. When I looked in the mirror
yeah,
that night, I was drunk. I was intoxicated. God only knows what I was smoking or what I was doing. And when I looked in the mirror, I didn't see the reflection of me, a 19-year-old kid. I saw my father, who was murdered when I was 11. And right then and there, that's where I came up with, the four F bombs that I live by. And I just started wanting to be a better human being. And that's where the military came in to
yeah,
play. And, and even when I joined the military, I didn't score well on ASVABs. I'm not real smart with book studies. It doesn't mean people
yeah.
are intelligent, but just in different ways. And even when I went there, I didn't, Navy SEAL, I had no clue what it was. I was looking here. I looked in the Air Force first. They're like, you don't have that aptitude test. So I went to the Navy and I saw this fucking pamphlet for Navy SEALs. And I was like, dude, I want to do that. That was the hardest thing in the world to do. It's like, I need that. That's what I need. I didn't want it. I needed it. And the recruiters are the ones that are supposed to sell you. He was like, yeah, you'll never make that. And I
Oh,
was like,
yeah, really. Shit.
and that's where I kind of stemmed off with from the Attack the Hill we'll talk about. But I have an internal dialect, which is, no offense, and it's fuck it, fuck you. But I say that to myself, like, fuck it, man. I can do this. Fuck you. To myself,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
can, Yeah, and I just did it, you know. I mean, and it wasn't easy. I had to retake. I didn't have the scores to become a Navy SEAL, but I joined the Navy anyway, knowing that I was going to be a SEAL. And you have to take this aptitude test. It's the ASVAB, and you have to get combined scores on things. And the moral to the story of this is never give up on yourself. You know, I took it the first time, bombed it. They said, hey, you can take it again in like 6 months, or I think it was a year later. I took it again, and you have to have two like mathematics and some type of mathematics and a mechanical together. They have to combine a certain score. Second time I took it, I missed it by 1 fucking point. Everybody told me to give up. Everybody told me to quit. And I just said, fuck it, fuck you, I'm not. But what I did different is I asked for external help, right? Before I just was reading. So then I reached out to my command and said, listen, I'm not giving up. This is my dream. I have to do this. Luckily, I was a squared away guy and they liked me and they supported me and I took some classes. True story. This is what I love. And to this day, I still don't know. I love telling the story. I have to give him credit. A gentleman by the name of YN1 Conklin. I was just like a E1 or 2. He was an E6. Okay. And the third time that I took it, he was helping me. I remember he was sitting at his desk and he was reading a paper. You know, and I'm standing there, you know, and just hanging out. And he's like, how do you think you did? He doesn't even look up at me. I said, I don't know. I'm scared shitless. And there's just like this pause. And it felt like it went on forever. And he goes, you passed. And the first thing I did was I went, what's my score? And I'll never forget this. He looked up at me and he goes, Ray, it doesn't matter what your score is. It matters what you do with your life now. Until this day, he still won't tell me what I got. Obviously, I probably just squeak fucking by. But you know what? That's all I needed. So I owe it all to him. You know, everybody's like, oh, it's on you. But him not telling me, and by him not telling me and then telling me that is, I think, what my fuel was, right? Because I always used to try to do things to prove people wrong. He's the one guy that told me you need to do things to prove yourself right. And I did, man. I took it and ran with it. Fuck that.
Yeah, absolutely. Like that is actually, I was going to say, that is one of my sayings. So I normally work with children sort of pre-COVID. Mm-hmm. And I've said this on a previous podcast is don't always go out there to prove people wrong or prove people wrong. You prove yourself right. Because at the end of the day, you got to look after yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah, brother. It's, yep, I love it. People always ask, you know, the why. What's your why? You know, bottom line, what keeps me up at night is the fear of being average. And what's my why? Me. My why is me. I want to be the best version of me so I can be the best father and the best husband. Everybody's whys are always your kids, and that's great. But you're not going to be a great father just because you have kids. You have to be a great father because you're a great father. You believe in yourself and you're doing everything you need to. So I've kind of, as I've gotten older, I've changed, you know, what my why is. My why used to be everything else. Now my why is me, because that's why I have the company Conquer, you know, the 7 points. Once I focus on me, right? Focus on you, then focus on the few. And that's what I do. And that's why I'm becoming successful, is because my world's very small. And all I want to do is make myself and the people in my world as successful as we can be. And success is not about money. People piss me off. Success is helping others help themselves, right? Help other people be better. So that's what I do. And that's what I'm going to continue to do. And I love it.
End of the day, when we get to an age where, we're all 6 feet under, no one's going to give a shit like how much money you had or
can't take that shit to the fucking grave, brother.
Exactly.
That's right.
It don't matter if you had a £1,000 or $1 million supercar or whatever it is.
Yep.
We all end up in the same place.
And everybody I've saw that has money that dies, everybody that loves each other fights over it. You know what? When I die, I've got whoever is left they're getting there. That's it. I ain't going to have a lot. I'm going to burn it all down and have fun with it, man. Like, I'm going to spend it on my grandkids. I'm going to spend it on vacations. I'm going to spend it on getting Viagra so I can still have sex with my wife. I don't care. I don't. I want to have fun with it, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I just want to, it's funny when you were saying about when people say you couldn't do the Navy SEAL, like you didn't have the right aptitude.
That's for all of them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Like when I joined the military here in the UK, so I joined the British Army.
Mm-hmm.
I have a medical condition where it's called hallux valgus. It's basically a condition with my bone in my feet where they point in a weird direction. They look a bit weird, I'll be honest. And I was told at the time, I was 16 years old when I joined, and they said, "Look, unfortunately, you can't join the military. You know, you've got this condition. It's going to affect you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, not going to happen." So obviously, I was kind of like the opposite of you. Like I basically wanted to join the army ever since I was like a little kid. I used to play around with. We used to have action men like GI Joes.
Mm-hmm.
Used to chuck them out the window with carrier bags attached to them, and we'd put like string outside the window down into the garden, make it into like a little
Yeah.
zip line, and that's all I wanted ever to do. And to someone to tell me that I couldn't do it, I was the same. I was like, well, I'm going to prove you wrong. At the time,
Pisses me off when people tell me I
does.
can't do something. That's the thing. Who the
Exactly.
fuck are you to tell me what I can? You don't know me. That's
Yeah,
what I tell
exactly.
people. Like, my daughter, when she first started gymnastics, she's like a 4-time state champion. Daddy, I can't. I'm like, can't is my favorite word, because you take that apostrophe and that T off and you got can. You
Yep.
can, baby. You just have to, like, family, fitness, finance, and faith. Faith is the ability to believe in yourself. You have to believe to achieve. She's crushing it now, and that's what it's about, man. Just like you believed in yourself.
Yeah, exactly. And like I said, I was told by about however handful of doctors, military and civilian doctors, that I could not join the military. At the time, I was a top sort of 20, 30, 40 in the country, in the UK, of long distance running for my age
wow.
group. Yeah, so I was a lot smaller than I am now. And yeah, I was a pretty skinny kid, so everyone was like, "Oh, you're not going to do it." And obviously, I had to appeal a lot of different things, and eventually, I ended up joining, and I did 8 years in the military, and doing a lot. I did tours of Afghan and Iraq. I'm sure, like yourself, but I just want to go back to, obviously, I don't want to talk about myself. It's obviously we want to talk about you.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So the first 2 years you actually spent in the Navy, didn't you? Or did you join a particular trade as such in the Navy before you went into the SEALs?
Nope. Literally.
No.
I went undesignated. I was a fucking boatswain mate. I was a decade. I did the basic job there was, but what was so unique is in the Navy you have shore duty and you have sea duty. I went to something called neutral duty. I didn't even know what the fuck it was. I literally went out on a boat during the day and came back at night, and it was awesome. And what I realized about the regular military is, like Forrest Gump, right? Just do what you're told.
Yep.
I've always lived by this motto, in the military. It helped me. Like, I always keep my uniforms clean because I have pride in what I do, and I live by this motto. And this is what I tell all the listeners, right? If you're early, you're on time. If you're on time, you're late. And if you're late, your ass should be fucking fired. And what I realized is a lot of people in the military, they just wanted to collect their paycheck. That's not what I did, man. If I wanted to just collect the paycheck, I'd work at fucking McDonald's. I wanted to make something of myself, and I had a goal. And a lot of people, when they go into the military, right? I mean, I was going down a dark path, but I was like, this is a new fucking start. No one knows me here. No one knows that I'm a fuck up. Nobody knows that I used to do drugs and I was an alcoholic and my dad was abused. I can just come in and be just a good human being and just PTFO, right? I talk, put the fuck out.
Yeah.
Put the fuck out. And, they say cream rises to the top, man. It didn't take me long. I mean, me and another guy, we were E1s and 2s living in E5 barracks when everybody else was in the bunks, because just so happened one day there was a man that needed some help. We were all sitting around doing nothing. We didn't have cars. And this guy, his name was Petty Officer Edwards, no one knew who he was like, hey, can anybody help me offload this wood? And everybody's like, we're not working. I was like, yeah, I'll help you. Me and my buddy Mike were like, we're not doing anything. And we helped him for a couple hours. And I don't know how it works over where you're at, but in the regular Navy, you have like mess cranking duty, which is like 3 months of shit working in the kitchen. You just got to pay your dues. And everybody got orders to check in at all these horrible places. And me and Mike, like, it was like 0330, and we got things at like 0700, Petty Officer Edwards' office. We didn't know who the fuck he was. And we show up, and it happens to be that guy. And he's like, just want to let you guys know, for the next 3 months, you're going to be working for me doing construction and stuff, which we had construction backgrounds. He knew I wanted to be a Navy SEAL, and he's just like, listen, this is how it works. Work day starts at 8 o'clock here. You're going to be in the gym early and done with your PTs, and I'll check in with you. Yes, sir. You didn't say yes, sir. Yes, Petty Officer.
Yeah.
We crushed it. Like, when everybody else was fucking miserable. I mean, we worked hard hours, but we worked with all these people, and like in 2 months they moved us down with like senior guys, and it was me and my buddy Mike. We shared a room together instead of having like 10 people in a room. And there were like 4 rooms, where the E5s had their own rooms, and all we had to do was we had a common little TV and thing, and our job was just to keep it clean. And we were like, Roger that, right? Roger that. And we were old enough for beer, so we'd keep it stacked with beer and stuff, and they loved us, man. We were just like their little maids, and we didn't care. We were living large. So my point to this is I talk about the team mentality, trust, effort, attitude, mission. If you want to be a part of an amazing team, starting with yourself, you got to trust in yourself and trust in others. Effort, I don't believe in 100%. Give it all you got and then give it more. But this is the biggest lesson I've learned. Attitude. A good attitude will open doors, and a shitty attitude will close doors right in your face.
Yeah.
And then the M is just mission. What is your mission? It should be growth. Mental, physical, emotional, social, spiritual, and financial growth. I put financial last because it's the least of my worries.
Yeah.
I need to be a better human being. And when you become the best version of you can be, the money will come. And that's what I'm seeing now, because I've just recalibrated my life and what's important, right? Priorities change as you get older. And, I used to be Ray Cash Care the Savage. I still am, but Ray Cash Care now, man, is the guy that just wants to sit at home at night with his wife and watch the fucking Mandalorian. That's it. That's all I want to do. And I'm happy with that,
Yeah, exactly. That's awesome. So I just want to talk about your buds training. Now, obviously, you went and spent. You said you went and did basically a neutral job for the first however long it was.
2 years. Yep.
Yeah, for 2 years. At what point did you fancy, obviously, going to applying for going towards your buds training?
So, what did I like about buds training?
Yeah. So, I mean, at what point did you go towards your buds training? Like you said, after 2 years. What's like the process you went through?
Oh, well, shit. Well, the hardest part for me was just passing the test, the written test.
Yeah.
All I did was just literally, we didn't have all these videos and stuff. All they said was you're going to run, swim, do push-ups, pull-ups, and sit-ups. Okay. So for 2 years, for a year, I busted my ass doing that. And then I applied to go to a dive locker as a mud pup, which is pretty much your job is just to out PT everybody.
Yep.
And they select you out of, I think it was 50 guys in the state. I won. I got it. And I was right there. And the thing is I busted my ass. And the difference between me and a lot of guys that didn't make it, right? 138 of us started. Only 16 original made it.
Yeah.
I tell people, there's people that want to be Navy SEALs. Like, I want to be a Navy SEAL. That's great. I want a dick that's 12 inches big, but I ain't got one.
Yeah.
But I need to take care of my family. I need to provide for my family. I needed to be a Navy SEAL. So I trained harder. And that's my motto, man. Right? I believe that every single human being on the earth has to create an MOL, and it's a motto of life.
Yep.
I make my daughter say it. My wife says it. All my friends say it. All my clients say it. I get up every day and say, be great today, be a bitch tomorrow. My daughter says I'm a champion, I'm a winner. And what I do is I go balls to the walls, man. Balls to the walls with everything I do. Before you got on the phone, I closed two $12,000 deals today.
Yeah.
And I got another one I'm going to close today. Making money, working out. All I do is the same thing I did before. I focus on family, fitness, finance, faith. I keep my and you go, what was training like? What was training like? It was fucking hard, right? They say swim a mile, I'd swim 2 miles. They say run a mile, I'd run 2 miles. They say fucking do 100 push-ups, I'd do 200 push-ups. My motto is, I still do it. Do more, do less, just do. I just do more. When people ask me, how many push-ups do you have to do, Ray? I do all of them.
Yeah.
What's your max? All of them. I don't have an answer because people that say my max number is 121 is not a real max. It's a number that they did one time and they fucking bombed out on.
Yep.
So when people ask me, what's your max bench? All of it. They're like, it makes no sense. It does if every fucking time you try to max out a weight, you might have a good day, you might have a bad way. As long as you give it all you have, I went from a 400-pound bench to a 380-pound bench. My max, I do it all.
Yeah.
Give it your all. Do your all. And that's what I did, but Bud's training, basic underwater demolition, 6 months long, is a kick in the balls.
Yeah.
It's a kick. And literally, I could just take you every day and kick you in the balls for about 12 hours a day, right? And there's Bud's training. Just mentally, physically, emotionally, socially, spiritually. They beat you down. They strip you of everything. You don't know what's up, what's down, what's black, what's white. And you just do as you're told. And a lot of it's just going off of whatever that fuel is that fires you, And for me, I just thought of all the people that told me I was a loser and I never make it to anything. And that's what I do. I reverse engineer everything, man.
Yeah.
You're a loser. Roger that. Thank you. Keep giving it to me.
It's
like
just,
other people get.
It's just fuel, isn't it? It's just fuel. That's all it
is.
It's
just fuel. And it's nitrous. It's all it is. It's nitrous, and it's free nitrous, because everybody's got a fucking opinion.
Yeah.
Only thing I want to hear from people is their fucking advice. And what's the difference? Advice is somebody who's been there and done that. An opinion is like me trying to tell you about your feet. I know nothing about your fucking feet. Yeah. So me giving you an opinion on that is as useless as having two assholes. It has no relevance in my life.
No.
Don't come at me. Tell people, don't come at me with a opinion. Come to me with with advice. Don't come at me with a problem. Come to me with a fucking solution.
Yep.
It's amazing what people can do when they just take time and they just, decision-making 101. Ask, make, take.
Yeah.
Right? Ask what the problem is, make a decision, take some fucking action. And what the problem with the world is nowadays in this society is nobody wants to take action. They're quick to do this.
Yep.
Right? But no one's quick to actually roll up their sleeves and get their hands dirty. And that's why I'm starting to really climb up the chain with finance, with family, with everything, is because I tell people I'm not the smartest, the biggest, the strongest, but you won't fucking outwork me. You won't. No. You won't outwork me. I will outfuck. I'm the guy that walks in the room that outworks the workers. I do it.
Yeah.
That's how I got a job with Bedros Keuilian. I mean, the guy's worth like fucking $500 million.
Yeah.
I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
And he fucking loves me.
That's awesome. Do you
what now, baby?
Yeah. Do you feel that if you hadn't joined the military, that your outlook on life would have been different?
I would have been in jail.
Yeah.
I'd have been in jail or dead. Yep.
Yeah.
Military. It's funny as I tell everybody, I'm not against a college education. I'm not.
Yeah.
But my thing is like some of the most successful people I know in life that are down or have not gone to college.
Oh, yeah.
They've just been guys and gals that have grinded their ass off, The military offered me everything I needed. If I had my goal, the entire world would do a few years of mandatory service.
Yeah.
Best fucking thing for me.
Yeah.
Best fucking thing for me. Going to war, losing people? No, that's not.
No.
But everybody, kids nowadays need fucking structure.
Yep.
They need discipline, and they need to be held accountable and responsible for things. And I will tell you this: the military will do that. Some branches more so than others. Like if you're a real shit sandwich, join the Marine. They'll fuck you up real quick.
Oh yeah.
They will. The Navy's a little bit more lenient. Getting in the Air Force is obviously harder with academics, but I think they're a little more lenient on things. But yeah, man, just anybody in any country, I really think the military, but it's like anything, right? You're only going to get out of it what you put into it. If you just want to go there and do the minimum, you're going to be the minimum. If you want to go there and be the best, Navy SEALs, I heard it was the hardest, the best. I did it.
Yep.
Is it going to be easy? No. It's going to be fucking hard. Because if not, then everybody would do it. But if you don't have the money, you don't have the direction, you don't know where you want to be, if you can, because I'll tell you right now, it's getting hard to get in the military, join the fucking military. 3 square meals, a paycheck, medical and dental.
Exactly.
Dude, I was like, this is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And dude, when I started, we were only getting like $300 every 2 weeks. And I thought I was living fucking large because I wasn't paying for food. I wasn't paying for my fucking place. Oh, I remember when I got my first fucking flip phone. I thought I was fucking gangster. Flip phone. Fucking awesome.
Yeah. I'm the same. I obviously we come from sort of slightly different military sort of experiences, but I can definitely relate to what you're saying completely.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like we like you say, you join the military. Even nowadays, I know it's a lit. My problem is at the moment, and I'm sure it's the same in the States that it is here in the UK. I believe it's very PC nowadays. It's very politically correct, and
I know what PC means.
Yeah.
And you're probably talking to one of the most unpolitically correct people on the planet. Yeah. I tell it like it is.
Yeah, I'm the same.
People don't want to hear it.
No, they don't. And I'm the same. I've got to be careful sometimes because obviously, like I say, when I work with kids, we're living in that sort of millennial generation where, like you say, they just expect things to, land on their doorstep, and that's not what happens. Like you have to work hard to get where you want to be. You don't.
I run a father-son program with Bedros Keuilian with fathers and sons 13 to 15, and I mean, I get in their ass. I get in their ass, and I tell the dads I'm going to. Attitudes I'll fix them real quick.
Yeah.
I'll fix them real quick. That's what I think a lot of the world needs right now is, back in the day, man, me and you had a problem. We went outside. We talked about it.
Yeah.
If that didn't work, we did this.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
It was done with.
I remember when I was in my basic training, my corporal, first thing he ever said to me was, when he was in his training, if he had a problem with someone in his platoon or one of the other corporals or whatever it may be,
Yep.
it was only ever two options. Nowadays, you go and, paint curbstones, you go and do guard duty. It was two options. You get your left or your right, and that was it.
Right.
That's it.
And then it was done with, I've given my shares and taken my shares. I've picked somebody up and I've been picked up before. It's like, are we done?
Yeah.
I had a lieutenant knock me on my ass one time.
Yeah.
Fucking fight. He's like, are we done? I'm like, yes, sir. And literally, I gave it a couple of days and apologized to him, but you can't do that nowadays. You got a problem, we'll go outside and talk about it. I'm like, yeah, let's go outside and talk about it. Thinking he knocked me square in the fucking chops, dude. Put me right on my ass.
Yeah.
I didn't even want to get up because he hit me with like his left and he was a righty. He's like, you want more? I'm like, no, sir. Can I please go back to work? And he was just like, get the fuck out of here. And I nutted up and said, hey, I apologize. I was wrong. And he's like, lesson learned. One day you'll have to do the same thing. And I did.
Yeah, yeah.
But that's, he could have probably killed me. He didn't. Thank you. But men had, I just think men have lost what the true definition of honor is. We just have, just putting out for a cause, like getting up. Like I love getting up and working and making money for my family, not to make money, but to provide for my family.
Yep.
Makes me feel great. Other people just want to make money, make and take. I want to make to give, right? Me and my wife, we give to charities, we do things, it makes us feel fucking good. It does. I love helping people out.
Yeah.
And
that's a big thing that I talk about on this podcast. And I talk to kids about this, is that end of the day, like I said, we're all going to be in the same place at some point in our lives, obviously 6 feet under. But, and I've used the saying before, but there's an old South African rugby player who was in the 95 World Cup. And he basically said, life is not measured by years lived, but by memories created. And that is I love that. That's a great saying. Because at the end of the day, you could live to your 30 years old, but you could still have an amazing life.
I just wrote that down on my phone.
Oh, awesome.
I just took a note. That's what I'm doing. I'm taking notes. Yeah, you're not the only one taking notes. I'm taking notes too.
Yeah, because like you could look at, I don't know, you look at someone like, for instance, I'm a big fan of Bruce Lee. Like he died young, pretty young. He was only 42, I think. Oh, sorry, not 42.
Yeah, he was young.
Yeah, but
he was in his, yeah.
He was a legend in his own right for what he believed in. And I think he, even if he'd have lived to 70, 80 years old, he'd still be doing what he does. But there's a little thing that I tell kids normally is there's a little poll as such that you go into old people. There was someone who went into an old people's home, like a end of life ward. And he said to the people on the ward, look, is there anything you regret doing in life? And basically said, there isn't. No. The only things I regret is the things that I hadn't done, not the things I had done. And that's something that, I tell kids all the time. Because at the end of the day, like you say, we live in this generation and I want to make sure that kids have the best that they can have. Now, I feel I've seen a lot of things that you do. I just want to quickly talk about. So, first of all, you do, obviously you're known to have done lots of sort of TV shows and stuff like that. One of them I'd want to talk about quickly is the Ultimate Hell Week that you did here in the UK. Now, first of all, what I want to say is I want to say a big hello from Danny. Do you remember Danny Flowers, as you called him?
Oh my God, I love. Yeah, I still have a shirt. He sent me a shirt with his face on it.
Yeah, really. So
yes,
one of my previous shows is with him, and so he just said, I told him that I was going to be speaking to you at some point soon. So he told me to say hello, and I was obviously with that. For people who don't know what it was basically, I think it was 12 days, 6 different instructors or 6 different branches of the special forces.
Yes.
Obviously, you representing the US Navy SEALs. Do you, when you did that, did from what I believe, as again from a military aspect of it,
Mhm.
did you want anyone to pass? Because
You know, that's a tricky question. I don't know if I'll tell you, I will tell you this from the get go. Woody and I knew Claire was going to be in the top two.
okay,
We knew it. Like Woody has a gift for that. That's why
Yep.
he made her the class leader. I was like, no way. There were like Flowers. I knew because if he would be a top runner. I don't know if I wanted people to pass. I just know that I knew there were people that wouldn't represent the quality that I was looking for, and I wanted them gone.
Yeah.
But yeah, I never want anybody to fail. Like
Yeah.
I don't have personal vendettas, but I will not drop my fucking standards for anyone.
Yeah.
That was, they actually, Claire was like, they were trying to pull us back. We have a curriculum, and I'm like, I am not going to lessen this.
Yeah.
My day that we did the beach, we lost. We lost a lot. We lost a lot of people. I weed out the weak and I weed out the fucking strong. That's what I do.
Yeah.
And I definitely think Freddie was great. Freddie, the host,
Yep.
Great guy. He thought we were sadistic. Good.
That's just a military thing, isn't it? That's just a military.
The world needs sadistic. They need chaos. They need unorganization. They need to be redlined. That's the thing. People need to be pushed so much fucking harder. They need to be cold. They need to be wet. They need to be tired and sandy.
Yep.
And I wish we could. That's why I put on these courses now. People need to be pushed because life has made people so damn complacent and comfortable.
Yep.
It just pisses me off when I see kids, right? And I work with kids too, and I love kids. It breaks my heart when I see a kid that's 12 years old and he's 50 pounds overweight.
Yep.
It breaks my heart, right? Because he's just setting himself up for a life of health issues and stuff. That's why I do a lot of these programs with kids, kind of these scared straight, where I listen, guys, fitness. You got to do this. You got to do great in school. And here's the thing. I hate to be vain about it, right? But the girl doesn't want the 400-pound kid that's overweight. She wants the guy that takes care of himself because it shows discipline. And that's what I tell young men. The best form of discipline that you can have at a young age, respectful to yourself and your parents and your friends, take care of yourself and take care of others. That's the best form of discipline that you can have. I also make kids do something that people were giving me. I make kids write the eulogy right now.
Okay.
Right now, 12, 13, 14, 15 years old. If you were to die right now, I do this with my adult thing too. What would your eulogy say? And people are like, I don't know. What would it say? Was it just going to say that you played video games and you were a jerk to your mom and dad?
Yeah.
Or is it going to say, hey, I busted my butt. I did this, and this. Because you live, there's a dash and you die. And when I speak to the youth, I tell them now is the time. Whether you're 12, 15, or 18, it's never too early or too late to change. I did it at 19. I'm here to teach you to do it earlier. I work with troubled kids. I've worked with prisoners. Guys on death row. It doesn't matter. It's even if you're getting put to death. I mean, I've dealt with this before. You can go out with some style and some grace, right? Make amends with people. Try to do whatever it is you can.
Yep.
Be a better fucking human being. And it's contagious. It's really contagious. And people need that, especially now with all this COVID crap going on and the world shutting down. And I could give you statistic rates: alcohol, drugs, suicide rates are going through the roof.
Yep.
Now, instead of all this turmoil that we have, this is where we should be coming together as one. It doesn't matter. You're dealing with the same shit over there as I'm dealing with here.
Yeah.
I'm losing money. I'm losing clients. It's inconvenient trying to take your family out to dinner. Christmas is going to be a fucking nightmare. Pardon my, I don't like to use the word effing with Christmas, but it's just, but you know what? Find the good.
Yep.
Find the good. You're here.
You have to.
You're here.
You have to. And
that's all I do with kids, right? I tell kids always tell me I'm a loser. No, you're not. What do you mean, Mr. Ray? The day that your mom and dad conceived you, right, there was conception, millions of sperm. I tell kids this, and their parents are like, what the millions? We're racing for the prize. You made it. You're 12 years old. Your purpose in life is to figure out what that purpose is and why you're here. Kids love it.
Yeah.
And parents, as I thought I was going to get like HR complaints, they love it too. They're like, because I'm not saying when mom F dad, and no, everybody is put on this earth for a purpose.
Yeah, absolutely.
You have to, your job in life is to figure out as a child, as a man, whatever you are, he, she, shim, I don't care. You have to figure out what your purpose is and be the best version of that you can be, bar none. That's it.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's kind of brings me on to your business, the Conquer. So is in sort of like basic terms, what is it that you do with that?
I'll tell you what I do with that. I do a couple different things. So I have 3 programs that I run with Bedros Keuilian, and Conquer's involved in all of them.
Yep.
But we have a father-son called the Squire, where out in California we take up to 25 fathers and sons, so a total of 50, and we do bonding exercises, and we incorporate the Conquer mindset and everything. Right? It's 7 points of performance to master you. So each letter stands for something. You shot a gun, there's 7 points of performance to shoot a gun: the grip, the stance, the follow through, the breathing, trigger, all that. All I want to do, the symbolism is I want to make you, right? When you first start shooting a weapon, you're happy when you hit the target, right? I want to get that shot group tighter. The symbolism is I just want to make you a better human being so that you can be the expert of whatever it is in your life. Now I have some other, we've done, we have daughters. I've never shot a gun. Well, have you ever made a dessert or a cake for mommy or daddy? Yep. I'm going to give you the ingredients that you need to make the best cake you can. And then once you get the cake to the way you like it, then you start really dialing in, doing things that you want to do to be better. And I just apply that. We have corporate training where myself and a Marine, he's a maniac, we go around and we focus on the 4 pillars of success: teamwork, problem solving, leadership, communication. We focus on the team: trust, effort, attitude, mission. I have all these acronyms, right? Conquer. Life is an acronym.
It is.
And we just go around and we teach people. We do drills, physical and non-physical drills. And we go around to companies with the Conquer mindset and we show them their deficiencies, their weaknesses. And then what we do is, that's great. Well, let's fix it, right? We figured out the problem. Let's show you a solution. And we do that. So we do that. And we're doing that. Right now it's virtual. And then the big one we do, the Mecca, is the project where we take men from all over the world. Yep. We've had men from South Africa, we've had England, we've had New Zealand, everywhere. Yeah. And it's 75 hours of literally, it's a physical, mental, and emotional course where you get to live, eat, and train with the SEAL, the Marine, the Empire Builder, Mr. Bedros Keuilian, the SWAT operator, and the MMA fighter. And what we're going to do is what men need. We're going to help you kill that inner bitch, the fear, doubts, frustration, that voice that says, no, I can't, so that you can unleash the beast, the warrior within, the yes, I can, so that you can dominate in your 4 F-bombs and be the best version of you want. You want to make more money? Great. That comes last. Focus on being, right, a great father, a great brother, a great cousin, a great whatever. Fitness. Fitness isn't just on the outside. Go to the doctor, get checked up, eat good, right? Yep. Eat your vitamins, kids, right? Work out, push-ups, pull-ups, sit-ups, finance, learn from people, learn to earn. And then faith, the faith is simply this. Now watch this. We're going to try something here. This is not skid. I want to see this. Maybe it's different in England. Okay. Let's try this. Let's see if you've been programmed with faith.
Okay.
All right. I learned this in the CI. I can't say the last time when I worked there, but here we go. In England, it could be different. What do you do before you cross the street?
Look left and right.
All right, you look left and right. Here we say look both ways. Same thing.
Yeah.
Now, question. Do you have a family?
Yes,
I don't know.
yes.
Children?
No kids, no. Just brother.
No kids, okay. Do you know any kids that are between the ages of 5 and 15 in your life?
Yep.
Okay, good. Now, were you hit by a car crossing the street as a child?
Nope.
No. Now, I have 2 kids too, and they weren't. But if you ask my 2 kids the same thing, they'll answer the same damn way. Look both ways. Because life is about programming people. Just like my wife taught my daughter hot with an oven. She didn't burn her hand. Now let's try one more. Let's see how you've been programmed. Okay. Here we go. In England, it might be different. I don't know. But in the United States, you can only do 2 things. You can W or you can L.
Yep.
That's it. Wing or L'ing. What does W stand for?
Win.
You're damn right. Thank God. What does L stand for?
Lose.
No,
That's,
see, you've been programmed wrong.
ah,
It's learn. No,
oh,
I'm not
no,
calling
that's
out
good.
learn. And it's it. So even people go, that's not true, Ray. You lost people on the battlefield. Yes, we have, but we learned, and we're trying not to do that again, right? The only way you lose is if you quit. And if you quit, you're a quitter. And the reason why I say that if you lose, you're a loser is because you've lost out on whatever opportunities that was. Like deadbeat dads that give up on their kids, they give them up. I adopted my son from something like that.
Yep.
His dad was a loser because he quit on. He's my son
Yeah,
now,
yep.
right? I'm not going to quit. I'll never quit on my wife. I'll never quit on my kids. I'll learn. Give you an example. When my wife was pregnant with my daughter, when we had my daughter, 3 days into having my daughter, my wife had me running around. I was tired. I wasn't thinking straight. My wife is a stay-at-home mom, and I love that. She's the queen of my life. And I told her, why don't you go get it? Being a stay-at-home mom's not a real job. Well, I don't know how that shit would go in England, but here, I'll tell you, to put me on the couch for a long time.
Yeah.
She didn't quit on me, and I didn't quit on her, but I learned a valuable lesson.
Yep.
I never fucking said that again.
Yeah, yeah.
So life's about learning. As long as you learn from your mistakes, because they always say, man, listen, kids, SEAL teams, failure is not an option. Bullshit.
Yeah.
Failure is the only option if you're pushing yourself as hard as you can. You're going to fail.
Yeah.
Fail fast, fail hard, fail forward. Just get up faster. Get up faster. Yeah. I fail every day. If you're not failing, if you're not redlining, emotional discipline is red and blue, and then you want to stay in the green. Yep. If you're not bouncing back and forth, it means you're not pushing yourself hard enough. It's okay to get pissed off, but you got to get right back into your calm zone. It's okay to get shallow with people. You just got to come back. That's the key to it, right? And the more that people do this, especially the youth, because the youth is what's going to run this nation in years. It's not you and I. No. I'm 48 years old, man. I'm on my way out, you know? So my job is I'm going to train, I'm going to teach, I'm going to educate my children to be the best versions of them they can be. They can make their own minds up and decisions, but they will have an overlapping field of fire of similarities with the way I expect them to be treated and the way they need to treat others. Yep. And that's what I do.
And that's something that I really like, obviously, because I do take, I look at a lot of the stuff you do on social media, etc. And I take some of it, or quite a lot of it, with what I do normally, i.e., as I said before, pre-COVID. Now, that W and L sort of exercise, I'm going to use that. That's a great one. The W and the L.
Yeah, I tell you, and because everybody's been programmed that way.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm saying it's not right.
Yeah.
It's not realistic.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. Yeah. I refuse to lose.
Yeah, exactly. And for me, like, that is one of the, and, you know, people, you know, there's people in the world who may say, you know, doctors are the best in the world, lawyers, politicians, whatever it may be. But end of the day, we're all children first. And me, myself, and like you say, what you do, working with children and making sure they have the best sort of best opportunities they can have, them makes them be able to make their own decisions when they get older to become a doctor, a lawyer, sports person, whatever it may be. And I love that.
I'm filming.
Yeah, no, that's good. I love it.
I'm filming you. Look at that. I'm filming the guy filming me. I want people to see that. That's what people do. Even though I'll get a copy of this, I like doing that live because I take notes. I love.
Yeah, no, exactly. And that's what I think is great about working with children. Like, previous to work, sort of post leaving the military and doing the job I do pre-COVID, you know, I was working for a telecommunications company, like one of the biggest in the UK. So I used to go around people's houses and fit their phone lines. But as the saying goes, it was just the same shit, different day. And it was just repetitive. And I hated it. And so I made that. I could have just sat there and thought, well, I was making a half decent money out of it. I thought, but as you say, money is the last thing on your mind. It's the last thing you should be worrying about.
If you're doing shit right, I mean, don't get me wrong, man. I mean, you know, you got to pay your bills, and yes, and I don't want to sound like it's. There's been many nights or times I've lived paycheck to paycheck, and I've worried, but I've realized that when I worry about the materialistic things, it it makes an impact on um, the realistic
Yeah.
things, right? You have the materialistic and the
Yeah.
realistic. And the realistic is I could be broke as shit. My wife and daughter are still going to love me. I can fail. They're still going to
Yeah.
love me. It's all about just surrounding yourself with the right people.
Yeah.
You know, like I said, people focus on the materialistic. They got to focus on the realistic. And being real is what's going to get you through life. And people, like I say this all the time, kids, people can see through
Yeah.
bullshit. They really can. I don't care. I know you, a lot of kids might hear this. The best thing you can do is just be a genuine
Yep.
human being. Like when people ask me something, I am political, but if I don't agree with something, I tell them I don't agree with something. If I don't understand something, I raise my hand and ask.
Yep.
I'm not going to go through life with blinders on, wondering what if. You can't do that, because this is what I'll tell you: young, old, and your time could be up. I don't want to be the guy that literally drops of a heart attack, and the first thing I go is go, fuck, what?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, no. Whenever I leave the house, I always try to make sure I kiss my wife. You never
No, you
know,
don't.
man. You know, so
And
people take life for
yeah,
granted.
it is. And it's actually quite funny. You meant, well, not funny, but how you mentioned that, and then how, you know, when you leave the house, you know, you make sure you say, you know, say hello or goodbye to your children and give your wife a kiss.
Mhm.
So the reason, I don't know if you're aware, but the reason why my podcast is called Catch on the Flip Side. So when I was in Afghanistan, my best mate, Dave, he went on his R&R after coming back. He literally landed in the UK, and about 5 hours later, he went out for a couple of drinks with his mum and dad, and literally went outside for a cigarette. Two lads basically set upon him, punched him, knocked him out, hit his head on the floor, and he died. Like literally a week later in hospital. And you know, and that was the last thing he ever said to me before he left Afghan. He said to me, "Catch on the flip side." So that's why I call my podcast "Catch on the Flip Side," and I use it quite a lot.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. I mean, that's the story is horrible.
Yeah.
The symbolism and the meaning of the yeah, I want to make sure I
Yeah,
make
yeah.
that clear, because I don't. But that is just wow. I mean, I got goosebumps
Yeah.
all over me. I didn't know
No,
that.
so that's why I call it that, and obviously people all know now, and most people do know, but you know, it was 2010, so it was, you know, it's 10 years ago. But it's, you know, it's something that I've always said I would make sure I remember him. You know, on my wall on one of the sides over here, I've got a picture of him in a frame with, you know, with our regimental belt and or regimental badges, insignia, and I'll always remember him. So that's something I think, you know, like you say, is something you just got to take every day as it comes. And you know, make sure you live the best of what you can.
And yeah, just like I said, you know, you can't kill that
No.
past. You can only name it, claim it,
Yeah,
tame it,
exactly.
and carry his name on the way you're doing. You're doing everything right, brother. So kudos
Awesome.
to you, brother.
Thank you very much. No, so
Yes, sir.
what I want to talk about now is something I'm very fascinated about. Now people won't know. Well, if people don't follow you, they won't know this. But you're actually a part of Captain Phillips, weren't you? The film with Tom Hanks.
Oh yeah, with
He's
Tom and everybody.
one of my favorite actors.
I'm the one that rescued Tom. At
Yeah,
the end.
yeah, he's one of my favorite.
Good times. Tom's
Yeah,
good
he's
people.
one of my favorite films of all time. He's Forrest Gump. I love that film. So when I found out you were working alongside him in Captain Phillips, I was just like, I have to ask you about that. That must have been. To be fair, I think Tom Hanks is one of the best actors of the last sort of 30 years plus. He's amazing.
You know, I fell into that role on accident too, because when I applied for that role and I didn't get it, so I was an extra, and I wasn't going to be an extra because I was a shooting instructor making more money, and I didn't know, but Kevin Spacey and Dana Bernetti were the executive producers, and I got a call by a guy named Dana, and I didn't even know who he was, and he said, "Hey, we really like your look, we like your tattoos, we like your size. We were told you make about $650 a day working as a firearms instructor." I said, "Yeah," and I took off 2 weeks, and I didn't get the part, so thank you. I'm just going to go on vacation. He goes, "Well, what if I gave you $700 a day for 2 weeks?" Now we're talking, you know. So we went in there, and I was supposed to be an extra, and just so happened, I ran into Dana again. At the time, I had a HSE 2006 Range Rover. He had a brand new one. I could tell he had money, but it said Dana Bernetti. I had no clue who he was. But we had all these, like he was going to have a daughter. My daughter was young at the time. He had a 69 original Mustang, which is worth
Yeah.
astronomical amounts of money. I had a 70 Bronco. So anyway, the guy that was supposed to have the part that I did, the ferry broke down and he couldn't make it. And we just started talking. He's like, hey, Ray, right? Cash. I said, yeah. He goes, I want you to do me a favor. I want you to go down to wardrobe and just put on your little SEAL uniform, your little SEAL outfit, and I want you to come back up. And I was like, what? My what? He goes, your costume. I'm like, I wear camis. I don't wear, I'm sorry, good. So I'm like, you just want me to walk down? He goes, yeah, just tell him Dana sent you. I'm like, Dana Brunetti. Okay, who's Dana Brunetti? He goes, I'm the executive producer of the film with Kevin Spacey. I'm like, I had no clue, buddy. Sure, I'll go do it. So I walk down, I put on the camis, I walk back up. There's a crowd of people gathered around, and he's like, come here, I want you to meet somebody. I said, okay. Swear to God. And Tom Hanks is always eating. I call him tapeworm. He eats more chicken wings than anybody I've ever met in my life. And he was eating something, and they were like, they move everybody the way, and they're like, hey, Tom, this is Ray. And he goes, hey, I'm Tom Hanks. I looked at him like, no fucking shit. And he just laughed. And anyway, he wanted to go over. When you film a movie, you film out of sequence. I didn't know that. First movie I've ever done. I did TV shows, but so you can film during the day and it looks like night and all this stuff. And they're like, here's the scene, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, okay. So they're like, okay, why don't you and Tom go over here and talk? I was like, what? So we go over there and Tom's like, okay, what do you do? I said, I do this. And he goes, okay, rates, cash? Yeah. I'm like, yes, sir. He goes, stop. Just call me Tom. I don't know what to do. So you lead and I'll follow. I was like, okay. So they literally put us on a boat, on the side of a boat, and they hover it down, but we're not in the water. And it looks like we are. And they're like, and action. And I did all these lines. Are you okay? Are you okay? And you got a little piece of it. And I sweep and I do all this stuff. They got these two cameras in their face. And cut. It's over with. I sit there and I'm like, holy fuck. And, they start talking. And Tom's like, what you think? I'm like, super intimidated. He goes, how do you think I felt being with you? And I was like, wow. Well, anyway, they go and talk, and they look like a huddle, and they look up at me, and they're doing this shit. I'm sitting there like, oh my God, I'm going to get thrown off the thing. And a couple of the other SEALs are walking up, the real SEALs, and going, what the fuck? I'm like, I don't know. And then some guy grabs me, and he goes, hey, you now have a role in the picture, and we need to get you in with SAG. And I'm like, I don't know what any of this means. And Tom just looks at me and goes, it's good. It's good. So, the paychecks were coming, but we had a good time. I met him, great friends with Max Martini. I still keep in touch with Max. I talk to Tom once in a blue moon, but not as much as I used to. But yeah, great guy.
Oh, that's awesome. That must be.
My wife loved him too. My wife got to meet him. She got all done up. Like I was like, oh, fuck? Yeah, she had the hots for Max Martini.
Awesome. Now, obviously, you've done a lot over the years. Like it's really impressive. Is there anything that from now sort of you want to do in the future that you've not ever done before, or something you've been planning that you can tell?
Well, I do. I might have another show in the works, which I'm really excited about, but I can't talk about it. But the only thing I want to do, and I know, let me finish before I do this, is I want to make an astronomical amount of money, so I can help an astronomical amount of people. That's it. Like people are like, that's it. I'm like, yeah, that's it. Like Pedro's cool, and you want to help 1 million people, or he goes, you want to make $1 million, help 1 million people. Well, I want to help millions of people, so I want to make millions of dollars. And guess what I'm gonna do with that money? I know what we need to live off of. It ain't nowhere near that. My kids got what they'll take, and I'm just gonna help. Who knows? Give back. Maybe my wife. We lost my mother-in-law due to breast cancer, so we do a lot of time with that. My wife does a lot of charity work. I don't know. I'd like to create. My goal would be to create a really cool youth program. We're kind of doing that now, but more like a boot camp style, where I take kids that are troubled, with other skills and stuff, take them in the middle of the nowhere, not filmed, and just change their lives, right? Like, listen, you're either going to do this, or you're going to jail. So, and for nothing. I don't want to get paid for it. I want to make enough money where I can do this and just help people. I love helping people, man. It's just, I used to hurt people all the time, and now I really enjoy. Like Bejo said, you're really good at that, but I don't think that's your real calling. I think your real calling is helping people, and he's right. That's why he's my mentor and my best friend. Yeah,
absolutely. And that's the same for myself with the shirt I'm wearing now. This is a charity that I do a lot of work with. It's called Scotty's Little Soldiers, and they help. It's a British charity who help children who've lost parents in war. So obviously, going back to my friend, it was absolutely perfect because when he died, he had an 18-month-old child at the time, and
Oh
he'd
man.
recently got married. So so I thought the best thing to do is obviously help others that have gone through the same thing because, as you say, you've been through it yourself, and losing a parent at a young age can't be good for you. And obviously, I like to talk a lot about mental health on my shows because I use a lot of sport and outdoor education, so that's what I normally do to help children. Because I think if you're out there doing a lot of sort of sport, any sort of sport, any sort of adventure. Now,
Mhm.
people may think, oh, adventure's like climbing a mountain or whatever it may be, but adventure for someone could be just walking the dog. It doesn't have to be
Yes.
climbing a mountain or going wherever in the Amazon. you know. And I always say that to children, like, just get out, get, make sure your mind's free and fresh, because otherwise you'll just start stewing. And as you mentioned earlier about kids who sit on the video games all day and all night, that can't be good for you. Don't get me wrong. There's, you know, if you're on it a little bit, there's everything is in proportion. You can't be on the computers all the time because that just isn't going to sit well in the head. But I
Yeah, I
believe
agree.
being out, out in the especially where I live in the UK. I live in a part where there's a lot of national parks, so there's a lot of greenery, so you can go out and walk, and within less than an hour's drive, there's some of the best sort of locations to go walking and climbing or whatever it
Mhm.
may be in the whole country. So I think that's something that kids should always be doing. And again, it's just a generation we live in where kids are just sat on computers or sat on the PlayStation or whatever it is. Yeah, exactly. I think it's a lot of rubbish. And that's something I like to do when I'm doing my outdoor education job, is to try and get kids to realize that even though everyone else is doing it, because that is, again, it's just the way we live. That the generation we live in is, social media and YouTube, all that kind of thing. Um, but it's just to help people realize that everything is not all about sitting on a computer game. Because at the end of the day, sitting on a computer game isn't going to help you really in life. Um, now, the last thing I just want to ask you, Ray, is something I asked everyone, um, is basically if you could give, let's say, 3 tips to live a better and healthier life, or just a generally more happier life, what would you say to them?
Well, this is the non-political response. That's why
Yeah,
I wear the shirt. Nobody
yeah,
cares. Work harder. And this is
yeah,
what I'm going to tell you. The best advice I can give you is nobody's going to believe in you like you believe in yourself. So it all has to start with you. If you want to be successful, focus on looking in the mirror and being the successor of you, right? Instead of, wanting, because the world wants, the world needs, you need to figure
yeah,
out
yeah,
what works for you. And, I swear by this, hard work pays off, guys. Time plus effort equals results. The best advice I can give young and old
mm,
people is no matter what you're doing, just work
yeah,
harder. You've got more. Everybody has got more in them. A lot of people just go through life with blinders on because they're not happy. And this is what I tell you: if you're not happy with what you're doing, then you need to figure out what's
yeah,
going to make you happy. That's it. And then people go, "Well, what kind of advice is that?" Well, I'll tell you. The longest time I hurt people, it took someone like Bedros Koulian to teach me that I could help people. I'm making more money. I'm happier. I don't deal with all the demons I used to have, and I still work my ass off. I mean, made
that's
$24,000
amazing.
today, and the
Yeah,
day's not even over. That's great, right? I mean, during this crap, it's great, but it
no,
doesn't come easy. If you want something, you need to establish a game plan
yeah,
and go get it. And don't take no for an answer. Listen to me. Don't. It's okay to fail. It's okay to learn. Just don't
yeah,
quit. Just don't quit, right? I don't believe. I tell people, don't have a
yeah,
plan B. Ray, that makes no sense. What happens, Ray, if you didn't make it through Navy SEAL? I don't know.
yeah,
I
yeah,
had no plan. I had contingencies for A, if I broke my leg, if I
yeah,
nope. I believe that once you figure out what your destiny is or what that destiny is that time, you just need to
Yep.
attack the hill. That's why I live by attack the hill. Go after it with everything you have, man. Give it all you got. I mean, it's okay to run and puke. It's okay to be so scared you shit and piss yourself. I'm serious. It is. It's okay. That means you're alive. You know?
Exactly.
It's okay. And you are alive and you're here for a reason. Your goal, the advice I have is start right now to try to figure out what your purpose is for. Don't ask other people what your purpose is. Internal. It's internal dialect. It's internal motivation. It's the internal drive.
That's amazing. Ray, I just want to say thank you very much. It's been an absolute pleasure. It's been absolutely great to chat to you. And especially from where you come from and your background, it's something that hopefully a lot of people will be able to take a lot from that and just take it away with them. I hope so.
I hope so.
I know I will.
Thank you so much.
As I say, I'll be making sure that people find out more about you. So what I'll do is I'll put it obviously all the links in the description, etc. And I'll make sure that everyone knows where to find you and what you've been up to on the old social media. And for myself, again, if you want to catch me on social media, you know where to find me. If I don't catch you soon, then I'll catch you on the flip side.